On today's episode, I had the privilege of sitting down with Kimberly and Daisy. They talk about how good food bonded their relationship and how ultimately it led them into opening a local bakery called InKind, located in Williamston, Michigan. They discuss some of the difficulties of opening a business and how they have managed to make it day by day. I enjoyed this conversation and I hope you do as well. Please consider following me on social media for future giveaways. And if you have a story of overcoming or rising above or beating the odds, then I want to help you share it. Please send me an email or direct message. I would love to hear from you. Thank you. All right. Welcome to the Rising Above podcast. Today I have two guests with me, Kimberly and Daisy. They are the owners and co-owner of InKind Bakery in Williamston, Michigan. And we have a special guest today. My cat's walking all over the table. Would you guys mind telling me a little bit about how you guys met and how you guys got started? Sorry, this is super distracting.
So we met when my husband and I moved to this area, to East Lansing. And at that time, Kim and her husband had been here in this area for a while. So they were very gracious and invited us, welcomed us, and invited us over for our first sort of dinner. And at that time, I don't remember what, I think I was traveling. I missed that dinner. So my husband went to the dinner and, packed home some leftover. And so I ate the leftover like 3 days later. And I was like, oh my God, we need to be friends with these people. They make amazing food. So that's really how we met, how we became friends. We bonded over food.
Where are you from?
So I was...
Because you said you're not from the Lansing area.
Right. I was born and raised in Taiwan.
Okay.
I moved to New Zealand when I was 18. And then I did my undergrad there, came over to the United States for graduate training, and then worked in Chicago, worked in Tampa, and finally moved up here.
Okay. Wow. So you've kind of been all over the place.
Yeah.
What about you? You're obviously from the Lansing area.
No, actually,
You're not?
I grew up in a small rural farm town in Ohio, and then my husband and I both grew up in the same small farm town. And then he ended up, I went to Miami University along with my husband for undergrad, and that's in Oxford, Ohio. And then from there, moved to Gainesville, Florida for my husband to complete his PhD, and then he got a job out of grad school up here at Michigan State. So we're kind of all over too, but this is our home now.
So you made them a meal. They were neighbors, I'm assuming, right?
No, well, kind of around the corner. Colleagues, my husband...
and my husband, they're colleagues. Yeah, they're in the same department.
Okay, so you made her a meal, made her family a meal, and you guys were hooked.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you're like, we need to be friends. And
we must be friends. I don't know if they like us or not. But I don't care. We'll make it work.
She wants more gnocchi.
Yes.
Well, what's gnocchi?
Oh, like an Italian pasta.
Is that what you made?
Yeah, that night, yeah.
So that kind of led into you guys starting InKind. How did that come about?
So we sort of bonded over food, and over the years we would get together. The two families would get together. We cook, we bake, and we had the opportunity of like sort of bringing food because our husbands work for the university, so we oftentimes would bring let them bring treats to the department. So I think. The idea of sort of sharing what we make and being able to, let everybody sort of enjoy the food that we make has always been in the back of our mind, and we like that. I don't know, sense of accomplishment and also sense of community where, I think I bonded with people over food. So I felt like, if I can provide other people with food, I think there's that sense of relationship building and community building. So we started talking about, doing something that's a little bit more serious. And we did the farmer's market for a while. And then this opportunity came about, the location in Williamston. We actually never really thought about opening up a brick and mortar kind of place because we felt like that is a lot of commitment and it's also sort of way above our skill level. But this opportunity came about and it was during COVID, so I think your brain kind of worked differently during the pandemic, especially after you've been stuck at home for like I don't know 9 months, and so we're like, sure, let's do this, let's get a place, and yeah, the rest is history.
So when did you guys open up exactly? You said it was during COVID. Was it?
Yeah, so we officially signed the lease with the for the building back in November 2020, and then we opened 4 months later in February 6th, 2021.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. I think COVID kind of pushed a lot of people to start a bunch of different businesses, and unfortunately, it hindered a lot of businesses as well.
Right.
But
one thing that's interesting about our bakery is the name of it's called InKind because when you give away baked goods or any kind of item, it's called an InKind donation. So we have a little bit of a philanthropic angle where we don't accept tips. We donate all of those to the local food bank.
That's why this is the reason why I want to have you guys on.
Donate the unsold baked goods to the food bank as well. So we've also done some things with the local schools, like fundraisers or donated things, or give them baked goods at cost for different events as well. So,
do you know what they do with those baked goods? They donate it to
for the food bank.
Yeah,
they give them to local families in need. So every week we have a pickup from one of the food bank volunteers. Everything goes in their freezers at their facility, and then I believe once a month they do like a packing for the families.
Okay. So how much food do you guys have left over generally?
It depends on if we've had a busy week or not a busy week, or if we overshot it or not. But it depends. So far, I think we've done over 600 items since we've opened, and then we've collected over $2,000 in tips. So it really varies. I mean, some weeks, and also we also donate things that maybe are still very tasty and edible, but maybe aren't visually appealing to sell. Does that make sense too? So if I really mess something up, there might be 40 little tarts that go that week that may just because we messed them up or something.
Right.
Yeah, things that cracked, things that like was a little crooked, like we couldn't really sell it, so we also donate those.
People are picky; they like to have their cookies looking good,
pretty. All right, like exactly round, and so something that's a little tilted, like.
How do you guys manage like being able to know how much to make every day?
Oh, we don't.
That's like one thing.
It's a crapshoot. Totally. I can be very honest.
We call it the how many. Like every day before the next
stressful.
day, it's like how many.
Yeah. We just kind of looked at each other and said, "Give me a number. Right. What do you feel like?"
Right. And something that doesn't sell one day will be sold out the next day. So there's really no prediction in some ways. We can predict at a high level, like we sell this many cheesecakes a month or this many mousse cakes a month, but what they're actually going to buy on a particular Thursday, we'll have a day where the coconut blondies sell out immediately, and then the next day, not one will sell. So it's just very just different. And it can be with anything. That's going to be like a certain kind of cookie or it just
croissant.
It's very variable.
Yeah.
No.
So we've given up.
We've given up.
Why let things that we can't control bother us?
Right. So it's just the how many.
Yeah,
like
the how many question.
So you said you guys kind of started off at the local food markets and stuff. Do you guys get most of your supplies from the food markets?
Well, we used to. We really enjoyed trying to get to the farmers markets and buying the local produce to include in our baked goods for the farmers market. Now we have some like northern Michigan cherries that we brought in from around the Traverse City area that we use. But sometimes it's cost prohibitive too, but also we're working now at the bakery when the farmers market is running like on Saturday where we used to get our stuff from. Wednesday we're there prepping, which is another farmers market we used to go to, and then Sunday Daisy and I's are a recovery day essentially.
We're zombies.
We're zombies by Sunday, so it's like, oh, we really should go.
Is it just you two working there?
We're the bakers.
Right. So we have a couple staff members that help us with the front of the house, so interacting
Okay.
with the customers and stuff like that. We also have an intern from the local high school who help us with the baking and and the prep work and stuff like that. But we are sort of the primary bakers and prepping everything. So
But by the time Saturday is done, we're done.
I imagine. I can only
But that's
imagine.
something that I really hope, in some ways we can get back to trying to fit that in the schedule. This is all very new, and we kind of went into it without a set plan. So we're still getting a lot of our ingredients, or trying to get organic ingredients, which means we're having to do the shopping too. So we are
Right.
going out and getting our organic flour, organic sugar, organic eggs, and things like that, and bringing them in
Right.
instead of having it delivered by a truck. So all of
Right.
that takes time each week too.
Mhm.
But we wanted to try to keep that mostly organic theme. So I think it varies, depending on the timing.
yeah.
Now you said that you're kind of based off of donations. Is that right?
No, we're not based off of donations.
No.
We just don't accept tips. We
You
just
don't
donate
accept
our
tips.
tips.
Oh, okay.
Just because
Okay.
during COVID, I didn't feel comfortable asking for tips. Like when you have the square, you can set up.
Right.
I just
Yeah.
didn't feel comfortable. But we talked about it and thought, well, maybe if people wanted to donate, we could, kind of pay it forward in that way. So we partnered with the food bank at the time, and that's what we've been doing with our tips.
Oh, that's very cool.
We love our customers. We have a lot of
Yeah.
wonderful customers. Some that
We
come
do.
in every day since we've opened almost.
Yeah.
A lot of fun characters we look forward to.
Yeah, I do think that, sort of talking about food, like builds community and stuff like that. Since we opened, the Williamston community in general and sort of the greater Williamston, East Lansing area and the Lansing area, people have just been so supportive. It actually is very overwhelming, sometimes, where we felt like we were really welcomed. People were excited. People spread their words. And then like Kim said, we have customer who comes in every day. It's like, and will tell us that I have medical appointments, next week, so I'm not gonna come in. So don't be alarmed. And so it just is it's very heartwarming, and especially thinking about the context, like during the pandemic and and all that. I think we were very appreciative.
Well, it kind of sounds like you guys came in at a good time because you're able to help establish like a sense of community within the Williamston community.
Hopefully we we contributed and pulled our weight.
Now, how many things are you guys baking and selling a day? What do you guys typically make?
So we usually have about 8 to 9 types of cookies, and then about 4 or 5 types of sort of sweet pastry type of items. So, croissants, almond croissants, and stuff like that. And usually 4 or 5 types of savory kind of pastry items. So, a bacon and egg croissant or a, ham and cheese biscuit. And then we have other sort of muffins, blondies. We have in our cookies individual sized cheesecakes, mousse cakes, and things rotate throughout the season. So in the summer we make cannoli, we made cake pops, key lime pie, ice cream sandwich. That's a little bit more summery flavor. I think in the fall we're gonna transition into maybe more maple syrupy kind of
That sounds
sort
good.
of like a fallish flavor.
Yeah, we also make homemade or handmade cinnamon rolls too, which are pretty popular.
Okay.
And those take quite a while to make too. So
Right.
they're, I don't know.
Cinnamon roll days are fun.
Cinnamon roll
Fun
days
days.
is the day. It's like, oh no, not cinnamon roll day.
So do you guys typically have specials of the day? Do you just kind of make whatever? Do you have
make
like
whatever.
Yeah, we make whatever. We also respond to customer requests. So we will get calls and saying that do you have any X? We've made vanilla bean cheesecake, which we don't usually make, because a customer called and would like that. We've made cannoli. I think we made cannoli for a while, and then it went away. We were getting a little bored with it, and then the customer were like, "Where's my cannoli?" We're like, "Okay, we'll bring them back." So we changed up the flavor. So now it's a pistachio cannoli. So we don't. So we want to play with like different flavors and stuff like that.
See what works and what
ourselves.
doesn't.
Yeah, and hopefully it works for a customer and customers respond.
Now, do you guys do like wedding cakes or birthday cakes? Nothing like that?
No, we outsource those to the sweet cake company. So
Okay.
Shayna, who owns that, she does beautiful wedding cakes and like the fancy birthday cakes. So like if you want a dinosaur birthday cake or a birthday cake in the shape of a handbag, that's Shayna.
That's
so
like above our salary.
she helps us out sometimes. Like so when Daisy wants to go on vacation or whatever, she'll cover for us. So we have like a very great relationship. So if this one wants custom cupcakes or things like that, we typically collaborate with Shayna. She just does those orders for us. But we will do like just a simple, 2-layer chocolate cake or a vanilla cake.
Right.
That is tasty, but it's not in the shape of a handbag.
Right. Now, how did you guys learn to bake so good? Obviously, it's good because you guys are still open.
We're still open. Great question. So my mom is a baker, so I sort of learned from her. And over the years, like if you want to eat, you got to make it yourself. I feel like so, yeah. So it's a lot of trial and error for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you?
I think it just comes back to I really like to eat good food, so I think it was more just self-taught, where I wanted to eat a yummy dessert. And then when my husband was in grad school, we didn't have a lot of extra money to go out to do fine dining restaurants, but I really wanted to eat the food, so then we kind of had to start subscribing to the Bon Appetits or the different magazines, and that's kind of what we did. Every weekend we would go through the magazine and pick out a menu, and we would execute that. Sometimes not great, but that's kind of how we started, that process.
I mean, that's how you learn.
Right. The one thing about baking, though, is I find it, before we opened the bakery, it was like a stress reliever for me. It was like something, I don't know, it took my mind off other things.
It's therapeutic.
Yeah, now I don't know if it's like a stress
reliever. It is.
That's more of a job now.
No, I mean, it still is a stress reliever for me. Because there is something that's like very satisfying when you sort of follow the steps and something yield, right? Like, and you're like, oh, this looks pretty, or this tastes great, and and like I said, seeing other people enjoying it almost, sort of trump the how I enjoy it, personally. It's more satisfying.
Right.
So
now you said you have an intern working for you, right? So is this a place that has like intern availability, or is it
Talent Center? So out in Mason, I believe. So it has all of the different high schools, like a vocational school. And the student that we have, he is in the culinary arts program. And he is going to be a senior. So he is teaching us a lot and learning a lot too.
I was like, oh, there's something to be said about professionally trained people who know what they're doing.
No, he's been a lot of fun too.
Great.
So,
he has been great. Yeah.
But what's really nice is when they come through the Wilson Talent Center, they've been trained on the equipment. So it is nice because he can come in and he can work with the knives, he can work with the commercial ovens and the commercial stove and the 30-quart Hobart mixer. So they come in from there already trained, just they need some hands-on experience. So it really has been a very good relationship.
Is this something you guys taught yourself how to use? You taught yourself how to use all those different equipment?
Oh yeah. It's like, Daisy, how does this work? The dishwasher especially. There's this huge dishwasher, and
it's glorious because each load takes 90 seconds.
Wow. Is it one of those ones you put it like in a tray and you stick it on a belt and it goes in?
It's glorious. But the first time we used it, we were like, oh my God, this thing is going to explode.
And then
We're really scared.
yeah, I mean, there were diagrams on the wall, like,
Yeah.
do this, and we're just looking at each other, like, I don't know, you know.
We're gonna turn it on and we're gonna run and hide in the back. Okay?
Even
Hope
just
for the
something
best.
as simple as the paper towels when we first got the building. Why aren't they standard? I mean, like changing the towels in the dispensers, you know, we got all these towels and we're trying to figure out how to open them. Well, there's a magical key we found hanging in the bathroom that you have to put in the top to open it. And then we try to put the towel in and it doesn't fit. I mean, we had like just
Yeah,
like
who knew that
yeah.
these things are not standard?
Right.
Like, really?
Even just changing
Why?
out the soap for the first time at the restaurant, we're
So
like, why
frustrating.
isn't that standard?
Yeah.
You know, we really.
I kind of wish I was a fly on the wall when you guys were starting out.
Oh, it was
Yes.
really funny though.
It's hilarious and frustrating at the same time.
right,
'cause
but it was funny.
Yeah, we will have days where like we got nothing accomplished except for
Yeah.
figuring out how to order paper towels for these 2 dispensers, but not those
They're
3 over there
different.
because they're different.
Uh-huh.
Again, why are they not standard?
Right.
It's killing me.
And
Now-
we learned that whenever you're cleaning out the grease trap,
Oh,
that is best outsourced to professionals. And
sadness. Yeah.
if you've ever encountered
You're nodding
that,
your
you know what I'm
head.
talking
You know
about.
what we're talking
right?
about.
So,
Michael's worked in the kitchen before.
right.
It's
So like
bad
those are the
news.
things like you just don't know until you're in it, and we
Right.
didn't really plan to be in it.
In it.
So, but we learned a lot. It's
Yeah.
kind of a lot of YouTubing,
Yes.
like Googling and figuring out things, and just
Hope for the best.
hope for the best.
So how do you guys manage, because you guys said you're the bakers and obviously you're busy baking things all the time. How do you manage that and the business side of it?
Oh, Kimberly takes care of everything.
Because I would imagine that just the business.
Somehow I became the administrative person.
Yes, because you're good. You're very good. I just outsourced to my business
Yeah,
partner.
Daisy just likes to
You have a
bake
question? Please
and
talk to
hide in
Kimberly.
the back.
Yes.
Anytime someone comes in and says they want to speak to the owner, Daisy like hides in the
here.
back.
Here's the owner you want to speak to.
Yeah, I'm like, no, not really. No, it's the administrative stuff, like doing the payroll and the accounting and all the other things. I manage that, but we do have professional resources like for accounting, and we have a lawyer that we have as well. But we did it very methodically from the start, you know. But when we did the farmers market, we already had our LLC set up. We already had our liability insurance. A lot of that stuff before we actually got the brick and mortar was already set up. Right. So there's additional administrative overhead that came up as a result of opening the bakery. But a lot of that set up for like the LLC and, you know, for taxes and things like that, we had to do. We didn't anticipate hiring people. We thought Daisy and I could do this all ourselves, and we found out very quickly on opening day that we needed help. So we hired.
That was so chaotic.
We hired
Not
some.
funny.
Our friends work with us, which is great. We have Callie, who she initially came to us because I said, Callie, my walls are bare, and she's an artist, and I was like, I have no money, help me. And so she brought over some artwork.
That's cool.
And then Jill ended up working with us because she was there taking photos for opening day. And then I'm like, Jill, will you come work with us too? So that's how we got our employees, and they really, you know, we're not making a lot of money, so we're just having fun being together, and it's kind of like our time away from our families for fun, you know, if that makes sense. It's like we all have other things going on, and it's just like a few days we get to spend together and laugh together. And it's a place too where you don't have to be perfect. You know, we try our best, and what works out, and if it doesn't, you know, we gave it a go. So, but we do have Jerome. Shout out to Jerome. He tells us if we burn anything, he will eat it and buy it. Apparently, he loves burnt things. So we always have a backup plan if we actually burn something. Jerome says, "Don't throw it away, honey. I'll take it."
Well, I can tell that your guys' personalities go together real good. You guys are obviously really good friends, and I can imagine that working in an
clicking.
Are you clicking?
Yes.
Working in an environment, you know, like that, you know, where you're trying to strive for perfection. Obviously, you're not always.
You're
You're obviously not going to always reach it, but it could be stressful, you know, because I'm sure some days you're having good days, some days you're not.
Oh yes, definitely. There are definitely challenges, and these ovens have personalities. Like the equipment we have, all of it came used through the property, so they're a little temperamental, so we've learned a lot along the way.
The first time we make anything in the
fails.
oven, it's always like, is it gonna work? I don't know.
Did you know it's possible to burn something on the top and then it's raw in the middle? We've had a couple of those, so it's just like, it's like, oh, this is unfortunate. But we kind of laugh about it mostly. Sometimes we do get frustrated, but
like we can scrape up the top. That's still edible.
yeah,
right?
we eat it. Like all the questionable things are staffy.
They're desperation times. I'm
we're
really
probably-
hungry. This is
probably
like
ate,
batch 3.
What, 3 burnt pumpkin pies?
Oh.
Like the staff are just like, going for it.
Yeah, there are just days where we're like, we can't get this right. Like,
Right,
we got to get this right. Like, but
Daisy's been taking over the morning bake in the morning. We've kind of trying to do shifts now, mostly because we're starting to get a little burnout. We don't want to we're kind of trying, we're just dabbling different ways to try to figure out what the right fit might be, just so that we can still operate, but also not get run in the ground too.
Right.
So.
I love how you guys literally from the start, it's just been a process of just trying to figure it out. You've been throwing things against the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and sometimes it sticks, and then other times
sometimes it doesn't.
it just slides down the wall.
Because I know,
5 minutes later.
I know, like for me, I want to be able to open up a business, but the fears of not knowing where to start and like is things going to go properly? Like it's obviously just going to be trial and error for the most part.
I mean, if you would have said like a year ago, would you be opening a brick and mortar bakery? I would have been like, really? Like we had to go through food safety.
Right.
We ended up going above and beyond and getting certified and the managerial stuff and working with the health department just to make sure, like MDARD, like I have her cell phone. I'm just like, what about this? What about this? So we have a really good relationship with the health department, and then just a lot of questions. We're not afraid to ask questions and say we don't know the answer.
Right.
And then even the local business owners were very welcoming when we opened. Just very
gave us
supportive.
gave us a lot of tips. I do feel like this like throughout this process, right? There are definitely trials and errors, but there were also like a lot of supportive forces behind us, where the MDARD like regulatory agency was super helpful. Our neighboring business gave us a lot of tips about like when to open and like what our clientele will likely gonna be looking for and stuff like that. So again, it sort of is that sense of community, and we felt very welcomed, and we hope that we contributed to building this community too.
Even just the professional services, like accounting and the lawyer, like how do you hire employees?
Right.
Like how do you pay people? How does that work?
They're probably like, after talking to us, they're like, oh my God, they have no idea what's going on.
We do not. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah. So.
In the meanwhile, put your hours on a sticky. Like I don't know.
Such great management practice.
I know. Like, yeah.
So what did you guys figure out to do in that situation when you?
We ended up using a payroll service called Gusto, which has really good reviews. So it does a lot of the work for you. You pay like a monthly fee, and but this was in conjunction with my accountant to make sure it was all set up. So, and it's more, you just have to go in like every pay period and enter the hours and things. So it's not too much overhead on it because we only have the handful of employees, and Daisy and I don't do anything. I mean, like
don't get paid.
We don't get paid.
We get paid like with baked goods.
Yeah. And the joy on their
love.
faces.
Yes.
That's what it is, right? Yeah. But all of that stuff, we kind of figure it out. I think sometimes you think like, oh my gosh, we got to figure this out. But we've figured out everything so far.
Right.
I think our next big adventure is the Williamston Jubilee is coming up in early August, and we're going to set up a tent.
Oh, cool.
But we have no idea what to expect because it's a craft fair and a worship festival and a duck race from the Rotary. Like a whole bunch of things are happening.
And I didn't know what the duck race was about until somebody explained it to me. It's literally a duck race. You release the ducks and they run down the river, or they swim down the river, and
whoever's duck wins.
Yeah, you bet on which duck will win. I was like, oh,
what?
It's very descriptive then. I was thinking about something like a lot different. Like,
so we set up a tent, or we said we're going to set up this little tent, which we had to borrow from one of our customers because we do not have a tent. Nope. Thanks, Lisa.
Oh, gosh.
But yeah, so that's our next challenge, is because I asked the landlord, I said, how many cookies do you think you would make for this event? She said, I said, 100? She goes, keep going, honey. I said, 200? She keep going. 300? She goes, 400. And I said, for the whole weekend? She goes, no, just for Friday night. And I'm like, oh my. So we just committed to this like last week.
Yeah, we're like, again, we sometimes do commit to things that before we know
what is exactly involved.
Sometimes
so.
That's good though, because then it just
right.
pushes you
There's no fear, right?
Right.
Because
Right.
we figure we'll just figure it out. Like, and I think this is something that we will have to kind of figure it out.
So we're
So
going to learn a lot that weekend. We're going to see like
could
what
imagine.
a duck race is.
Yeah.
It's like a craft fair.
How long would it take to make 400 cookies?
It takes us 2 hours to make 12 batches
Dough.
of dough.
Yeah. And then we have to
Wow.
roll it individually
Right.
to portion it. Baking doesn't take that long. Each batch, we can probably bake, 60 in one oven.
Yeah, we have 2 ovens.
Yeah. So
120 cookies at a time
right.
for 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah.
Because they only take 10. But they have to exist first.
The dough needs to Yeah, sadly, they don't come out of thin air.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It'll be all right.
It'll be fine. What's the worst that can happen? What's the worst that can
See,
happen?
that's how we say, right?
That's how you get through it.
Yeah, it'll be all right.
It'll be all right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Yeah, it'll be fine.
It's not the baking part that I find overwhelming, or even the dough rolling. It's the putting them in the baggies.
Oh, yeah, individually
Putting them in the cellophane bags, and then that's a lot
Right.
of cookies
That's
to
a lot.
package. I don't like that part.
Yeah, I wouldn't like. I wouldn't like
It's
any of it.
It's repetitive, detail
TDS.
oriented. Yeah. Usually I make Daisy do those things, like the division of labor. I'm like, oh, this is tedious and repetitive. It's your job.
Oh, it has something to do with paying people. Go deal with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We have more divisions here, right? Like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm more like the brute force.
Yeah.
Daisy's more the delicate.
Here's 30 pounds of dough.
yeah, I'm more of that. Yeah.
But that's all right. We'll
figure
make
it out.
Yeah, we'll make it.
You'll figure it out. Figured everything out thus
Right.
far.
Right now, we don't know how, but
Yeah, we don't even know how to put up the tent yet.
yeah.
But we're gonna figure that out. It'll be fine.
I'm a little worried about that, but
Putting up the tent.
yeah. According to Lisa, she said that it's like a one button thing. Like I was
Oh,
like,
yeah, those are
I can-
nice.
Yeah,
Those are
I can
nice.
deal with one button. Anything that requires like connecting
Yeah,
pieces,
no.
I think because we're on the shorter
Yeah.
side, I think anything like that sometimes is a little tricky.
Yeah.
But
We're
we'll
like,
figure it out.
Not that short.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
We do have friends too. We have a lot of.
Luckily, we're sitting down, so you can't see how short we are.
We're using all our friend credits,
Yeah.
but we did do the SOS out to the friends.
Yeah. After we realized how big of an event the Jubilee is,
Mhm.
I think I was like, we need to call our friends right now.
So were you
Get them
guys
to-
invited to this, or did you? How'd that come about?
Well, we have a really good relationship with the food bank because we've been donating
Mm-hmm.
our items to them, and I believe Jill, who is on the food bank, is also Kiwanis, is the one who's running the tent area that we're going to be in for the craft show. So she had been meaning to connect to us, and I said, "Didn't you mention something about a tent?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." So this kind of all came together this past week. So
Right.
it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'd be fun. Those
Yep.
tents are easy to set up too. You just
Okay.
literally each corner has a button. You
Right.
push the button and pull it up, and
All
Yeah,
right.
we have husbands
It's
too,
easy.
but I imagine their job will just be like, we need more whatever from the bakery. The bakery door you can see almost from the park, so it's like just across
Mhm.
the street. So,
Oh, okay.
And I imagine them carrying these crates of things and just running them over to us as we were like, we need whatever. That'll kind of be the role that they might play.
Very well.
Now with the business, obviously it takes a lot of time to start a business. Takes a lot of time to run a business and bake and all that stuff. What kind of toll does that take on your family? Are they involved as
Oh,
well?
My husband looked really rough after we opened because we had the kids were home doing their online schooling.
Mm-hmm.
Because of during the pandemic, and then I pretty much left him. Well, not left him, but I went to the bakery. I was like, I'm getting out of here. I've been holed in with you guys for quite a while. So Daisy and I opened the bakery, and we were there for some long days, making dough, getting ready. And then he had to take on the childcare primarily. So he looked a little rough when we first opened. But he's he's better now. It was just an adjustment, I think. So
It's also summer. It's a little easier.
Mhm.
yeah, there's not schoolwork to contend with as well. We don't have any family that live nearby because they are all in Ohio. So it's pretty much just Mr. Scott had to be Mr. Mom for that period of time. But things have we've gotten in a rhythm now, and I think we're managing things a lot better. But at the beginning, we both kind of just took on everything, as much as we could, and now we're kind of getting into more of a rhythm. And but I think the home front things are better now. I do also work another job for my real job. I'm an IT consultant, so I do that the other days of the week.
So what days are you open?
We're open at the bakery Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 to 2.
Okay.
And then Wednesdays, there's always our prep day, just to kind of get ready for the week.
Mm-hmm.
So like if we notice like the cookie dough is getting low, or if we, and we're making key lime pies, we can kind of start prepping some of those things, get the muffin mixes ready, all of that, because we bake everything in the morning fresh, or when I say we, now Daisy.
It's all right.
But it's been working out well, because if she's doing the morning bake, then I can get up and get the kids ready, get their breakfast at home, and then kind of come in and relieve her. So this new schedule seems to be working okay. We're doing it in anticipation of the fall, because my kids will be going back to school, and I have to do drop off and pick up, and we're kind of just trying to get into a new rhythm.
Do you work from home?
I do.
So it kind of makes it a little bit easier, I'm imagining.
Right. I just need an internet connection. So.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
What about you, Daisy?
I think my husband is supportive, but he's also sort of like, "You're crazy. What are you doing?" So I think he's like supportive, but he doesn't also want to see me suffer. So I think that's his primary concern. Like, he doesn't want to see me like super tired all the time, or whatever. So I think the initial period of adjustment was a little difficult. I mean, I'm usually an early riser, but like getting up at 3 is a little different qualitatively from getting up at 6.
Right.
And he would come in and help. He would run our grocery. He would be our dishwasher sometimes. Take our recycling. Yeah, and stuff like that. So he does come in.
He does our window art too.
Yeah, he does our window art. He draws pictures of our cats.
Oh, cool.
On the window. So it's like a all hands on deck kind of business.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, like I had mentioned earlier, it's difficult, obviously, to start a business, and it takes a toll on your family, it takes a toll on you physically and mentally and emotionally, I'm sure. Now, what would be your advice to people who want to start a business like myself? Obviously, the struggle is it's difficult, and you just kind of have to figure things out. But what would your guys' advice be to somebody who wants to be a self-starter?
That's all right. I don't need to be in it, and we're good. Daisy's the one in her cute outfit anyway.
Yeah, which I'm like sitting down, so no problem. I would say, to the extent that you can, get professional opinion and help and advice.
You guys would be professionals.
No, like learning by trial and error is not does not count as professional. I mean, like, we at the very beginning, our accountant, the insurance that we work with, and like our lawyer, sort of gave us a lot of good advice and helped us navigate through like some of these. Some of the questions, right? And it really is a process where you don't know what to ask when you don't know anything.
Right.
So almost at that stage, like, having professional help gives you, like, help you think things through, and help you ask the right question, because you at that stage you don't even know what to ask.
So would you recommend like getting like a business mentor?
Yeah, definitely. Getting mentors, getting people with experience, and people with experience in the area that you want to get into, as well as sort of the background support, like like I said, the lawyer, the insurance, the accountant. I think that helped us setting things up correctly, because I think it's always easier to do things right. like sort of from the foundation, right?
Right.
Rather than realizing that, oh crap, like I need to fix this or I need to do something over there because we didn't do this correctly. So I do feel like, having started out correctly was really helpful. And then really just, I feel like we both have the right attitudes about this whole business. As in, like, we'll figure it out. It will be okay, We're not going to be super stressed about things. We're trying our best, and that, sometimes it's not perfect, but that's good enough, right? So I think if you're going into this with somebody else, make sure that you have a clear, like, sort of shared vision about what you're in this for, as opposed to like fighting over money or resources or whatever it might be, having disagreement. I think, I think we both went in thinking that this will be a fun adventure, and I think it's more important that we are in this together as opposed to we make any money or we're not going to make any money.
We went into that from the beginning. It was like, this is
Right.
not, our objective was not to make money.
Right.
It was to bake for the love of baking and to give back to the local community via these in-kind donations. So the money, I mean, we don't want to sink.
Right.
But
you want to be able to stay afloat.
Right. But it's not for us to have money to bring back home to our families.
Right.
That's what we have our other jobs for.
Right.
So this is just purely for the love of baking and to give back.
Yeah.
So.
Very cool. Well, is there anything else you guys would want to talk about real quick before we wrap this up?
I don't think so. Is there?
No.
Is there
I don't
anything
think so.
else?
Just if you see two crazy ladies with a tent
Struggling.
struggling,
So,
that
okay.
would
Come
be
and help us. Especially if you're tall, because we're short.
Now,
We
you
would
guys
be
are located in Williamston, Michigan. Where about exactly?
Right next to the Sun Theater, I think is what
Okay.
people most likely recognize when you drive down that street. Right next to the Sun Theater. With Russ's lovely
Cat
window
painting.
art on the outside.
And cats.
Cats.
Cats on the windows.
Yeah, cats on the window.
Okay, and you guys will be at the Jubilee Festival in Williamston. What dates?
That is the first weekend in August on the Friday
Okay.
and Saturday. So we'll be there with our little tent.
And a bunch
Figuratively.
of 400 cookies for Friday.
For
Just
Friday. According to Dawn Marie, that is the target. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. It'll be fine.
Well, that's cool. I'm excited for you guys. I love your guys' attitude, and I love that it's just been trial and error for you guys, that you just, been figuring it out as you go.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Trial and error.
Yeah, because I do think that there's not much else you can do, right?
No,
You got to
yeah.
do it and then see what happens and then say, well, okay, this is good, but can I do it better?
Right.
And so long as you kept that mentality, I think, the challenges will, I wouldn't say they would go away, but, you can deal with the challenges and then say that, oh, yeah, I learned something, even though the outcome of this trial is not necessarily the best. But, we can do something, try different things and figure things out.
See what works and
see what
find what
works.
works best.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I guess with that, let's just wrap this up. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.